All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the second part of the show, we are going to now go through the power rankings that were released this week. Obviously, this is something that we try to do every single week. I just go through what NFL.com comes out with. I just go off of their power rankings. I start from the bottom and work my way up, and I, say whether I, agree or disagree with some of the decisions that they made with these power rankings. So let's go right through it. So starting at the bottom, we have the Arizona Cardinals at 1-8. Yeah, I mean them and the Panthers 32-31. I can't really disagree. I mean the Cardinals really did nothing on offense on Sunday against the Browns. Clayton Tune got the start. And yeah, I mean in the description, being overwhelmed. Yeah, he was overwhelmed. They just could not get anything going on offense. And they are going to be getting Kyler Murray back this week. They're also going to be getting possibly James Conner back, so that would be huge. So you know what, the Cardinals, although they're not going to make the playoffs, they're not going to win 8 straight, but they could definitely finish with a more respectable record with those guys coming back. But I can't argue with that. I mean the Panthers as well. They're playing on Thursday. They struggle to score points, and Bryce Young did not have a good game against the Colts. He threw 2 pick sixes, and once again, dogs barking. He threw 2 pick sixes, and yeah, like I said in the first segment, I mean, Panthers might have made a mistake, but who knows? Maybe it's too soon to tell. I don't know. This team could very well be the worst team by the end of the year record-wise, and that's the Giants. They're at 30, 2-7 on the season. Tyrod Taylor on IR. Daniel Jones tore his ACL on Sunday. So Tommy DeVito looks like he's going to be the starter. They did bring in Mac Barkley. Brian Dable knows him from his Buffalo days. Right now they're a 16-point underdog against the Cowboys. I mean, this team, I'm going to be honest, I really don't think this team's going to win another game. I really don't. Because they can't score points. What a disaster this season has been for the Giants, really. I mean, it's been awful. It really has. And listen, I said it yesterday, I feel bad for Daniel Jones. I just, as much as listen, I said I didn't believe he was the guy. I didn't see us winning a Super Bowl with him in the future. But I did not want to see that. I really wanted to get a fair evaluation of what he can do, and we just never got that because the offensive line was terrible. You had Saquon getting hurt. The weapons, you bring in Waller, but the receivers, I mean, there's a lot to be desired with them, not including Jalen Hyatt. I think Jalen Hyatt could be a good player. Just got to throw the ball to him. And unfortunately, when you don't have a bad offensive line, you have no time to do that. So, I think the Giants can end up being the worst, finishing with the worst record in the NFL. But we'll see, because this other team might have something to say about that, and that's the Patriots. 2-7 on the season. They're going to be playing in London against the Colts. Mac Jones threw a pick at the end of the game when they were driving to, try to win the game against the Commanders. And the crazy thing is, Bill Belichick's job status. It's possible. There was somebody tweeted out, and I forget who it was, but they said that it's possible he might not finish the season, depending on what happens on Sunday. And I'm like, really? But we'll see. It does not look good. Does not look good for Belichick and the Patriots right now. They are 2-7. Then you got the Bears, who are 2-7. I mean, they played a competitive game against the Saints, even though they had 5 turnovers in the game. I don't know how the Saints did not win by more than a touchdown in this game. And I'm saying that because I picked them in my spread pool, and they had so many chances to cover, and their offense just could not get any points. And then they were kicking a field goal, and they missed it. Hit off the crossbar, or the goalpost. So it just, whatever. But the Bears, I mean, we'll see what happens on Thursday. They're 2-7. It doesn't seem like they're going to be doing anything. And who knows when Justin Fields is going to come back? I mean, is it going to be Bajan again this week? I would assume so. Then we got the Rams at 27. They went down 6 spots. They're starting to listen. The beginning of the year, they beat Seattle on the road, and you're like, okay, maybe the Rams are going to be decent this year. But they've lost 3 in a row now. Right, 3 in a row. They haven't looked that good. They have not looked that good recently. Stafford being hurt, and they actually did sign Carson Wentz, which I think is something that the Jets should have did instead of let's sign Trevor Siemian and just keep starting Zach Wilson. I would have signed Carson Wentz. As much as Carson, and I'm not trying to talk up Carson Wentz like he's the one from 2017. I'm not saying that, but Carson Wentz is better than a lot of backup quarterbacks. He's better than Brett Rippon. So the Rams did the right thing. Rams did the right thing by signing Carson Wentz. Because if Stafford misses more time, at least you have a quarterback that can at least generate points. And you know what? You got Cooper Kupp, you got Puka Nacua. I think Carson Wentz could be okay, but he's got a turnover problem. So, but I don't expect the Rams to really do anything at this point. They're 3-6 now. It's not looking good. 26, you got the Commanders. With their win over the Patriots. I really did not see that coming, to be honest. I thought the Patriots were going to win this game. But Sam Howell looks good. I think, you keep surrounding him with more talent. I mean, Eric Bieniemy calling plays. You know what? I think they got something there. And this is after they traded away, Chase Young and Montez Sweat. They're 4-5. They're going to finish with the respect. They're going to finish around 500 this year. But you got to like what you've seen from the young quarterback. Commanders are at 26. Raiders at 25 after their win against the Giants. They're going to be playing the Jets now, so we'll see what happens. But, they're 4-5. Let's see if they could ride the ship here, get back to 500. It's definitely possible when you're playing against the Jets who really can't generate any points on offense. We'll see. And then you got the Broncos at 24. They're coming off of a bye. They'll be playing Buffalo this week. And listen, however you want to look at it, I got to say the defense is playing a little better, right? Is it okay to say that? I feel like we could say that. Russell Wilson hasn't been bad this year. So, right now they're still, you look at them as a bad team. But, now they're playing Buffalo, a team that's been struggling. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'm being too positive with them. Packers, they jumped up a couple of spots with their win over the Rams. I'm not really buying into that because, Brett Rippon was just horrible. But, listen, the Packers finally gave Aaron Jones the ball more. He had a decent game. He had a touchdown. So, I don't know. Maybe the Packers, get right. Jordan Love, plays how he did at the beginning of the year as opposed to what he's been doing right now. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Then you got the Titans at 22. Will Levis looks good. He's been looking good so far. So, we'll see what he does against the Bucs, who are ranked above them. But you got to be encouraged with what he's been able to do so far. So, then you got Tampa Bay at 21. They're reeling a little bit, losing 4 in a row. And you hope that, I'm hoping that they could get right. But we'll see. Then you got the Falcons at 20. They dropped a few spots. So they're 4-5 now. Yeah, now the Saints are in first place in the division. So, I really have no idea who's winning that division. It might come down to the last week of the season. So, but you would like to think the Saints would win it. Because, I feel like right now they're the team that should win it, but I don't know. Then you got the Colts at 19. They jumped up 4 spots. Listen, this team's going to finish around 500 too. They could score points. Gardner Minshew hasn't been bad. You get Jonathan Taylor back. Yeah, I don't really think this team's going to make the playoffs, but next year they could be a good team when you got Anthony Richardson coming back and you have a good draft. You sign some free agents. Who knows? Jets went down 5 spots. That loss against the Chargers was awful. The defense played great. They held Herbert to 136 yards passing, but the offense really is what hurts this team. And you really wonder if Aaron Rodgers was healthy playing, what would this team look like right now? But then again, and it's true, this offensive line is terrible, and Rodgers probably would have got hurt regardless because they just cannot protect Zach Wilson, even though Zach Wilson has been bad. Vikings at 17. We'll talk about them later in the show, but that was a big win. Now they're over 500, and I think they could find their way into the playoffs and get that 7th wild card. Now, I don't really expect them to do anything other than that, but hats off to Josh Dobbs, really. And we'll get, like I said, get into that in the final segment. Chargers at 16, they get themselves back to 500. I think this team makes the playoffs as a wild card. I just think they're too talented to not to, but we'll see. It is the Chargers. Texans at 15. I mean, we talked about them in the last segment. That's a team that's going to be fighting for a wild card. The Steelers are at 14. Their offense is not very good, but the fact that they are 5-3, it's a credit to the coaching staff. Credit to the defense. Mike Tomlin is a head coach that has never finished with a losing record, and that's probably going to continue. But they really got to get things figured out on offense. Also, what's going on with George Pickens? With what he's been doing on social media, and the Steelers might have another head case on their hands, unfortunately. Saints are at 13. Now they're 5-4. I mean, listen, the Saints, they should have a winning record. They should be the team to beat in the South. They should be. But I'm still worried about them when it comes to consistency. Seahawks at 12. I mean, they got blown out by the Ravens, but that really shows you how good the Ravens are. And I did say this, but Seattle's going to have to upgrade at quarterback. I said, even though Geno Smith, it's been great what he's been able to do with that team, Seattle's not winning a Super Bowl with Geno Smith at quarterback. They need to upgrade there. But that doesn't mean that Geno Smith can't find a job elsewhere, or he can't go back to being a backup quarterback. But I don't see it with I don't see Seattle winning a Super Bowl with Geno Smith. But they're still a good team. Seattle is still a good team. But you play against these better teams on the road. The Bills are at 11, 5-4 now. I got to be concerned with them. Really, offense has not looked good the last couple of weeks. Well, the consistency, like they have their moments. I mean, they went down the field, their first possession against the Bengals to answer their touchdown drive, but that was it. So I don't know what happens moving forward. Browns are in the top 10. Defense looked really good against the Cardinals, even though they're playing against a rookie quarterback. Now they got a tough game against the Ravens, so we'll see what they're really made of. Deshaun Watson, though, still doesn't look good. Bengals, I think, should be higher than 9. I think they should be ahead of the Cowboys, who are at 8. I think they should be ahead of the Niners at the moment because they beat the Niners. I'd even put them ahead of the Dolphins. I think they should be top 6, top 5. I think so. Because right now you got the Dolphins at 6, Lions at 5, Jags at 4, Chiefs at 3, Ravens at 2, Eagles at 1. I think the Jags are a little high. I think the Jags should be lower. I think the Bengals should be higher. 49ers, let's see what they do. I mean, now if the Jags go and beat the if they go and beat the Niners this week at home, I mean, then they are fine where they are. But right now, the way the Bengals have been playing, I would put them higher on the list. I just would. Eagles and Ravens and Chiefs are the top 3. I have no problem with that at all. I have no problem with that. For me personally, I'd probably do the Eagles 1, Chiefs 2, Ravens 3. Now, people are going to say Ravens look better than the Chiefs right now, and they do. They do, but I'm not going to put the Ravens over the Chiefs just yet. So, but Ravens look really good. They look really good. Chiefs, they got to figure it out on offense. I get it. So, all right. So with that, let me know what you guys think of the power rankings. So my thoughts on them. So before we go to break, again, I just want to remind you guys to tip or donate, get your comments recognized. Make sure to go to the following link. That is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps the show, makes it more interactive between you guys and myself. So make sure to do that. The link, once again, streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. And it is also on the ticker on the bottom of the show segment. So we're going to take our second break of the show, and then when we come back, we will discuss the Cowboys-Eagles game. I know I glossed over it yesterday very quickly, but we will go into more detail with that on the next segment. So stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.